it's hard to find a guy that big who can be out in open space and make the plays, tackling or making the interception. So
yep. And and as well as tight end too, out in open space, catching the ball and making people miss, and actually being able to pull away from people after he catches the ball. So no, he does a great job for us. And like I said, his work ethic is absolutely amazing to see. And like I said, I'm up in MICDS a lot, working out and running on campus, and he's always up there, working out and everything as well, putting in that extra effort during these difficult times. So
I've gotten a chance to see a lot of his workouts, just from different videos and stuff. And now he's really going the extra mile. He's putting in a lot of work, and I agree with you. I think this senior year, I think is going to be big for him. I think he has a chance to really shock some people. I think he's gonna have a big year though.
I agree. I totally agree. I think that this year he is going to shock a lot of people, and I can't say he's a sleeper because he was a stud for us last year. But I think he's just going to get better and better and better. And I'd say his mental game has gotten a lot better as well too. So he doesn't let a whole lot of things bother him. On the field and everything, he's pretty steady kid on the field mentally.
So next up, we're gonna look at Raphael Sowan. Did I say that right?
Raphael Sowa.
Sowa.
Okay. Yeah, Sowa. So yeah, Raphael again started his sophomore year for us, just like Will did, just like Jalen did. Raphael is he's a 6'3" and he's 299. I know on his huddle highlight he put down there that he's 315, but he's actually done a great job of losing weight as in the weight room, dedicated himself and has really done a great job of managing his weight better and stuff. So really quick feet, really great hands. As you see there playing defensive tackle, you don't see him watch any of these clips. He doesn't get driven off the ball at all. And he maintains his gap. Offense, I tell you what, I don't know very many people who wants to get in the way of a 300-pound man running that fast.
Oh my goodness!
So, you see here he pancakes two different people as he goes down. Here he does a great job of maintaining, taking on a double team, coming off the double team, and closing the gap down. Here he's pulling around, pancaking the guy, moving his feet on contact. Super strong, super athletic for how big he is. Explosive. He's one of my throwers. He was a 46, 47-foot shot putter as a sophomore. Really disappointed this year with tracks. I thought he could have been a 50-footer for me. So you see here, takes on two different guys and comes off and does a great job of, pressing and shedding here. And right there, the ball is about 5 yards down the field, and he just never stops going.
Yeah.
See here, he pulls around, and that's one of the hardest blocks right there in my book that just happened, that he was able to pull around and log the guy and everything. So he
watch that one again. I love it. I love it.
He does a great job and pulls out and logs, and that's a far side guard pulling there too, and he's hooking a 5 technique.
What I see consistently is double team, which means teams know about it. Yes. I play defensive tackle, and double teams are not easy, but he's able to withstand that initial contact and keep his position and make a play on the ball, which is very, very difficult to do.
Yeah, and on offense, he does a great job. We want to run behind him as much as possible when we run downhill. We want to trap with him. Like I said, that size of man coming at you, you're gonna run. Most kids will run, and he does a great job extending his hands and hips and using his hips really well. On the offensive side this year, he had around 25 pancakes as a right guard, and I would say about 15 of those were actually pulling and trapping on play side or across in the center's face, pulling backside. So he does a great job on offense. And just moving his feet and moving his hands, and he's a special player for us. And he's started playing football in 8th grade, so wow. he is right. He's super raw, and his ceiling is super high. I don't think he realizes how good he can actually be. And when he first came to us his freshman year, it was a struggle to get him to come out of his stance and fire off the ball. So he's a really hard worker. He'll put in the extra time. I lost track of how many times that he stayed after practice and asked me questions. I would set up extra drills for him. He struggled at times with, like taking like his pull steps. So we worked on that. He was asking for help. He wants to get better. Before practice, pre-practice, he's one of the first ones down there. He's putting in the extra time, working on his hands for pass protection, working on his hands to shooting on the defensive line. He definitely puts in the extra time to make himself better. I can count on one hand how many times he's missed the weight room, and that usually is because he's seeking out extra help for his, for his education and for any classes that he has questions in. So he's always in the weight room. He's, like I said, ceiling's super high for him.
Coach, what's his measurables again?
So he's 6'3", 299.
Okay.
And he just participated in the combine that was in early March. I think he ran a 5'3" pro agility. So like I said, he can move. And at that time he was 315 when he weighed in that day, and he's 299 now. He sent me a picture the other day, and he was 299. So he was super proud of that. As losing weight and getting stronger. So he's primed. He had 24-inch vertical. So like I said, he's super explosive young man.
Definitely. What is he like off the field?
Raphael, he's a goofball. He's always trying to razz somebody. They're always trying to razz him. Like I said, I had the lineman over, and he comes over, and my 11-year-old son and him talk trash the whole time, and so it's fun to watch. We play blitz ball in my front yard, and it's a good time. Spike ball in my driveway, and they're just sitting there talking trash to each other. And so he's a great kid. He loves to be around other people, loves to talk to other people. Like with my wife, it's yes ma'am, no ma'am, thank you Mrs. Menneke, very respectful. So yeah, but he is a goofball off the field. So I enjoy being around him. Like I said, he's one of my throwers too. This year, we talked about at the end of our season how he can get better at line, and I told him, I said, the one way to get better is becoming a wrestler. And I'm a middle school wrestling coach, and I wrestled for my youth years, and then went back to it. I stopped playing basketball my senior year, and I knew that wrestling was important. I told him that, and so he did a great job of getting in. He did his off days of weights. He went into the wrestling room and wrestled with our heavyweight and our 215-pounder, and he's super scary. So watch out for the wrestling team this year. He is determined to be our heavyweight this year, and he's like I said, he puts in the extra time. He's starting to understand football. And when he came to us, he didn't really understand blocking schemes and knowing what to do. He just knew what he had to do, and that was it. And with working with him on getting a huddle highlight together, and and he asked me, we were watching a week 9 game, and he says, Coach, that play, why didn't we have that in week 1? Because it would have worked with what the defensive end is doing. And I literally got up and I gave him a hug, and I said, I'm so proud of you. I said, you're starting to understand football. And I said, well, you weren't ready for it. That's what I flat out told him. I said, you weren't ready for it. We weren't ready for it as a team. I said, you have to do, X, Y, Z first. And then I said, we can add the things on later that makes us better. So he's learning the game as we go, and he's done a great job of that.
Perfect. So the next athlete we have is Nate Smith.
Yeah,
I like this kid.
Yeah,
me and Tyler watched his film. I think it was about a month ago, and we were like, "Wow, we like him a lot."
He's always around the ball on defense. As you see there, he averages almost 10 yards a carry, 9.8 yards a carry. I'll take that any day as an offensive lineman. I mean, that's an offensive line coach. At his first 10 yards explosion is absolutely amazing. As you see there, he's pulling away from a very talented Luther North team. When he gets the ball, he hits the hole and goes. He dips in, dips out there, and he definitely does a great job of reading blocks and actually setting up the blocks too. As you see there, he set up 2 different blocks for our kids. Tough to bring down. I think right there, he broke 3 or 4 different tackles. When he gets the ball in his hands, it is dynamic. as you see here, great hips on the block. If you will rewind that, that's actually a 4th down play, and that was to extend the series. And we ended up winning that game in the last 12 seconds of the game. You'll see the last play here in a second. It's on his highlight too. But great downfield blocker. When he gets the ball in his hands, he is super dynamic. He returns kicks for us at different times. He's just an athlete. He's an all-around athlete. Sets up blocks really well. Great vision. When you get the ball in his hands, watch out. A lot of these tapes, you see it looks almost the exact same. So just pulling away from people. People have the angle on him there. He's deceptively fast. He's a track athlete. Multi-athlete kid again. Runs track for us. Would have ran hurdles this year for us. 400 runner, 4x1, 4x2, 4x4 type of kid. So coming up, filling the hole, making the tackle on the guy. He's not afraid of contact. He'll stick his nose in there. Does a great job of reading the quarterback here, breaking on the ball, getting it, and getting a huge interception late in the game. This is super late in the game, for us. And he made in that game down at Poplar Bluff, he makes the game-winning touchdown catch and everything. So, like I said, he's the type of kid that you just have to give him the ball. You just want the ball in his hands. He's a hard worker. Like I said, again, he's up at MICDS running hills, doing what he can. Doing the hurdles and the little mini hurdles and doing cone drills and everything. And so we'll put in the extra work and effort. He's played football since he was, I think, in 2nd grade. And so, yeah, he's done a great job for us. And he started as a sophomore, with us. And his breakout game, in my mind, on the offensive side of the ball was the Hannibal game his sophomore year. I think he had multiple touches in that game, over 20 touches on carries and also on passes, and out of the backfield, little jet sweeps, little swings. So he can catch the ball out of the backfield as a running back. He can catch the ball downfield as a receiver.
I was going to say, with his versatility, he looks like he can play a little bit of slot as well.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and be a dynamic tool to use in different spaces. What is Nate Smith academics looking like?
Good in the classroom, decent in the classroom, decent test scores. Yeah, I mean, all of our kids are good in the classroom and everything. So hard worker, seeks out help when he needs it in the classroom and everything. So yeah, he's on top of his academics for sure.
And
so he's a quiet young man. I can seriously honestly say I've known Nate for his dad's our defensive coordinator and our athletic director as well. And I've known Nate since he was 5 years old. And Nate, I'm not even kidding you. I see him almost every single day because he, track coach, runs track as well. He's probably said less than 200 words to me his whole entire life. And that's not an exaggeration. He's a quiet kid. I tell you what, he is a great leader. He does a great job of leading by example for our team. The kids definitely look up to him because of his work ethic and everything. So really respectful kid, but just super quiet, but definitely a great leader by example on our team.
Definitely.
I thought he played very physical as well. I really liked it, and I agree with you. He does have some deceptive speed as well.
Yeah,
that first play, he ran away from Lutheran North. And
yes.
Like you said, Lutheran North has a lot of D1 athletes, so that speed is there.
Yes, it is. So his first 10 yards, I tell you what, is so fast. And a lot of times, if we would watch a little bit more, they're the holes, like on the midline play, later on, it was so small that I'm like, how did he get through that? But he hit it so fast. And like everybody's like, oh, there he goes, and he's breaking away from people. So he does a great job of hitting the hole hard, and and setting up blocks. Dipping in, dipping out, and setting up blocks for linemen and tight ends and receivers downfield. And he's tough to break down. A couple of those clips, and he was hitting broke it for 30, 40 more yards after contact. So he has great balance, great ball carrier. His footwork is amazing on routes. So yeah, he's just an all-around athlete. Can play running back, can play receiver, slot, can play DB, safety, kick returner. We put him in the Wildcat a couple times at quarterback, and and stuff. So like I said, he can do it all. So
next we have Mr. Grant Purdy.
Grant Purdy. Grant's our starting middle linebacker last year. Super smart. He's always run the ball. He's does a great job of reading guards. Does a great job of coming downhill and hitting you. His football IQ is absolutely amazing.
There we go. See that hit.
Yeah. Yeah, does a great job. Gets off blocks really well, causes fumbles. They're really disciplined on his tackling, really disciplined on his knowing, what area to be in on pass protection, A1, A2. Always hustling. He was back in pass protection there, comes up, makes the hit on him. Like I said, super smart in the classroom. I think he has a 3.9 GPA, or 3.8, sorry, GPA. He'll go to either MIT or University of Chicago or WashU for us and play football. Great young man, hard worker, dedicated himself to the weight room and everything. He's gotten super strong. He's actually really diverse. You see a couple of clips. He'll be at fullback. We moved him to the offensive line, the middle of the year last year, and he was one of the first offensive linemen for us off the bench. Played a little bit of guard, and he picked it up real quick, for sure, and stuff. So has good hands right there. Athlete, just all over the field making plays. Right there, just being patient and coming up and making the tackle. So yeah, he's. Go ahead,
Coach. Can you talk about his leadership on the field?
Yeah, so middle linebacker, you're calling strong calls, you're calling the defense, you're calling adjustments. He owns it. He absolutely 100% owns it, and he wants to be a leader. He wants to be a leader on and off the field. He does a great job of, he just called me the other night, and with all this coronavirus, he wants to get more kids involved. So we talked about how to get more kids involved in our younger levels during this time. So he loves to be a leader, wants to be a leader. Will do anything it takes to make himself and the team better. So yeah, he's, like I said, super smart in the classroom, super hardworking as well on and off the field. Great young man. We invite him over for lineman dinner since we did move him to O-line. And like I said, he's really respectful to my wife and to my son and everything. So yeah, he's great kid on and off the field. And the older brother played for us and everything. And so he does a great job of filling in his older brother's shoes and everything. So
I was gonna ask, was he related to all of the Purdys? But that family.
Yeah, Tyler's playing at Holy Cross right now. So
yeah.
So he has a great mentor in Tyler to look up to him and everything. And Tyler had great work ethic, and Grant does a great job with that. And what helps Grant out also is I talk about it again. He has a wrestling background. He wrestled in youth wrestling, and you see it when he breaks down breaks down and tackles. Because hey, truthfully, we do rugby style tackling. Rugby style tackling is a double leg takedown, and that's what it is. And he has experience in that, and so he does a great job with open field tackling.
Gotcha. So next athlete, one of the guy who I really find intriguing is Reagan Andrew, your quarterback.
Yes, the Q. I call him Q. Q. This is a little freshman highlight here. He does a great job as a quarterback. He sits in the pocket. He can get outside the pocket. He sits in the pocket right here and hits. We were just talking about Tyler. There's Tyler right there, Tyler Purdy. This was Reagan's freshman year. Reagan also throws it, as you can see here. He gets a little move, cuts back inside, super shifty. From his freshman year to his sophomore year, he did a great job of improving his speed. Does a great job of here of snapping the shoulders around on a little rollout. and he had great pocket awareness. He's a quarterback that can make any throw. He can make a level 1, 2, or 3 throw. You see here, level 3 throw. To Jalen right there. He does a great job of putting the ball where nobody can. And see here, he's around the corner, gets hit, breaks through. He has great speed. Super competitive, man. Super competitive. Right there, hits Jalen across the middle again. So yeah, like I said, he can make any throw. He can make the swings, the hitches, the posts, the digs, the goes. He can make any throw. And like I said, he's only a sophomore now, and he took us to the state championship game as a true freshman. I guess he is a true freshman, but as a freshman, sitting here, nice little post route, deep post route, hits him in stride. But as you see here, he's running the ball around the corner. And that was a read play. He can give the ball off. He's reading somebody. Does a great job running our option offense for us. On reading. You see here another read play. He could give it, but he recognized what defense they were in. This was his freshman year. Recognized what defense they were in, so he pulled it and he threw a little RPO action there.
Yeah.
So he could give it there too, but he was feeling it that game. So he pulled it out real quick, as you can see there. But that definitely is a read. But again, making find the open guy. That's the biggest thing as a quarterback. Find the open guys. And we have a really unselfish team, and he does a great job of distributing the rock to whoever is open. So again, that throw right there is the only place that receiver Nate Smith could have caught it, and the DB had no chance of knocking it down. So he's a great athlete. In his 15 games, his freshman year, he had over 2,000 total yards, 1,700 yards of passing as a freshman. 24 total touchdowns this past year. He got injured and only played in 5 games for us. He had a little hand injury, but he was on track to do even more than what he did his freshman year, especially in running. Running, he almost had just as many running yards this past year in 5 games that he did in his than he did as a freshman for us, and he played in almost 2 times as many games. Or 3 times as many games. So, and passing yards, he can make any throw in the field. Does a great job of rolling out, sits in the pocket, hits the swing, does a great job when he does the rollouts to his left, snapping the shoulders around. Like I said, super competitive, man. And doesn't let a whole lot bother you. When he does throw an interception, he comes off the field, he's calm, cool, and collected. I was
going to talk about his. He's so clutch in big games.
Oh yeah.
Even as a young man, talk about his demeanor and how he keeps his team focused and ready to go.
Yeah. So as a freshman, every single game, and from districts all the way to the state championship, we were behind in the second half. And and we had great senior leadership that year. But as a quarterback, you are leading on the field, and he never let it bother him that we were behind in every single game. And we were able to pull it out, made some clutch throws up at Hannibal, made some clutch throws, down at against Smithville in the semifinals. As a freshman, that's absolutely amazing. And he's, talk about clutch, and Luther North again, in basketball. He played basketball this year. He made a 3/4 court shot, threw it one hand like a football, and it went in. And MICDS Luther North. So Mr. Clutch again. So. Great young man, yes sir, no sir type of kid. He loves to be around sports. Really athletic family, loves to be around sports. Really knowledgeable about football. Understands what we're trying to do as a quarterback. Understands our scheme. Understands. He'll tell my lineman, hey, you should have blocked that guy. So he understands, every single position on the field. And he doesn't get rattled, and the few times that he got rattled, he was able to, go by himself and compose himself and talk to people, and then he snaps out of it real quick. So it doesn't get rattled a whole lot, throws an interception, and there was one time where, my son's the ball boy, and I caught after Reagan threw an interception, he was over there, arm around my son, talking to my son and everything, and next thing goes out and throws a touchdown like the next play. So he's great competitor. Doesn't let a whole lot bother you. Can make any throw at quarterback. super athletic to run the ball, is not afraid of contact at all as a quarterback. Sometimes I'm like, you can go out of bounds and that's okay. But sometimes I think he would rather hit the guy, than go out of bounds as the quarterback. So he's I always joke with him, if you become that physical, you might find yourself on my offensive line. He says, Coach, that's what the team needs. That's what the team needs. I'll be down. So like I said, great teammate to have. Just a great young man.
Nice. So next we have Stephen Holl. He was a freshman last year.
So Steve Holl is a freshman. So we knew Steve was going to be good, and Steve came in this year and was absolutely fantastic for us. He had 105 carries and had 589 yards and eight touchdowns running. He has great cuts for a freshman. He has great field awareness, knows when to cut, knows when to dip in, dip out, sets up blocks really well. He from the prior game, you'll see here in a little bit, he returned a kickoff for us. Here's again Luther North, and he pulls away from everybody but one person. So, but yeah, so I mean that's a freshman right there making plays against a really talented team. He's the type of kid that you want on your team for sure. Gets the ball here from a different type of pitch. We don't recommend that by far, but that's your clutch quarterback right there. But no, Steven does a great job, and here's his kick return, and he does a great job of setting up his blocks and really understanding, what we were trying to do here, on the kick return, and as well, has some speed. He's multi sport young man. He played up on the varsity basketball team this year as a freshman. He ran track this year as well for us, and would have contributed on the varsity track team as well. So multi sport kid. So yeah, he does a great job on the field of setting up his blocks, and does a great job of hitting the hole hard and running really, catches the ball well in the backfield. Later on there, you see him, I think he has like 4 or 5 swings in a row that he's actually catching the ball out of the backfield on swings. And so he does a great job of catching the ball and definitely hitting the hole. He had I think he had 9 or 10 touchdowns this year as a freshman. And that's fantastic. So
definitely, he looks like a very, very dynamic runner.
Oh yeah.
And somebody who compliments Nate Smith in the backfield.
Yep, they do. So when one when one's out, we can put the other one in. We can both put them both in the backfield, and they both do a great job of blocking. They both do a great job of blocking and everything. So it's gonna be a great year, and he's gonna be a big part of our success this year as a running back and everything. So he's a really dynamic kid and great young man. What were you gonna say, Tyler?
No, I was going to say, Steven, he looks very impressive. What level do you think he'll be able to play at?
I think he's a D1 kid. I really do. Seeing what he did his freshman year here, and seeing his work ethic and how hard he works and how bad he wants it. I think he's a Division I kid, for sure. I think he's wherever he goes, he's going to, like a lot of our kids, their best football is ahead of them for sure. Steven grew up a lot this year, on the field, and he came in and really understood what we were trying to do with him, really understood what we were expecting of him, and rose to the occasion. And not many freshmen can actually rise to the occasion and everything on a varsity level, on varsity football level, especially in our conference and in our sub district that we had, with Summit and Ladue and everything. So, and he rose up, and one of his better games, he carried our back on our team. He carried the team on his back. So he does a great job for us, and we can trust him with the ball and everything. So he still makes the freshman mistakes, but I mean, hey, he's a freshman, so we expect it, and and he does a great job when he does make mistakes of getting back out there and fixing it and helping the team out.
So next athlete we're going to look at, last athlete we're going to look at is Winston Moore, who's also a freshman as well. You guys got
Winston's super dynamic.
I got a chance to see his film a little bit already. This kid's pretty good.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Tyler?
I said I got a chance to see his film already. He's pretty good as well.
Yeah, so he's he had two older brothers play at Burroughs, and he came over to MICS, and we're super excited to have him. Super dynamic. You see here, this is in our jamboree here, but this is his coming out party. Right here, he goes up and makes an unbelievable catch in the end zone, and we knew Winston would be good for us, and knew Winston would help us out this year, but he definitely rose to the occasion that night. And then from then on, we had the confidence in him before, but we definitely had confidence in him, after that jamboree, that we could trust him and everything. So does a great job of catching the ball here and making a lot of people miss. And I tell you what, Winston is fast.
Speed.
So, and I can't say he's deceptively fast because he's just fast.
Yeah.
So another multi-sport kid, plays basketball for us, runs track for us as well. So, does a great job of catching the ball here. Just an athlete that you want to get into space with the ball, because when he's in space, there's not a lot of people that's going to bring him down, and especially being a freshman and contributing here. He played a lot of slot for us this year, played some running back actually for us this year, the backfield, making guys miss down the field and everything. Yeah, he's just a great kid, hard worker, super talented. He had 458 yards this year, and he had to step into our quarterback role right there on the reverse. And he had to step into our quarterback role later on this year when Reagan went down. He did a great job, run the ball for us and everything, at the quarterback, right there, going up, making on contact, keeping the ball in his hands. So he does a super dynamic right here, little counter action here. So he does a great job of hitting the hole here and just trusting that people are going to make their blocks for him.
Yeah.
So he's, like I said, super fast. That prior kid that ran him down super fast too. So, he does a great job with moving the ball in his hands. He's right here. He makes a great. Reagan makes great right here. Winston goes and pretty much puts the
You're breaking
to where
you're breaking up a little bit, Coach.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said Reagan made a good throw there, and Winston made a great catch, and we put the only place where Winston catch the ball. Winston right here, a sweep left action with the ball in his hands, gets hit again, drug down, jersey's getting pulled. For a freshman to make that play, that's a senior play right there. On the very next play, he comes back. The rest called a holding, which wasn't a hold. Never a hold when the offensive line. Very tight and not afraid of contact either. We'll stick his nose in there. Great right here. Fakes the dive and just out races everybody to the corner and stuff. So, and I think we did that play like 3 times. So, and everything. So yeah, he's great.
We're having a little trouble with the connection, but I will say this about his film, and he just jumps out. Like, you can tell
he does.
He has something a little extra that other kids don't have.
He does.
And you talk about him being able to play quarterback position as a freshman in the middle of the season, transitioning over. How was he in that position and being the leader of that offense?
So, as a freshman, you're a backup quarterback, it does limit your playbook. So, we did a great job as a staff of picking plays out that we knew he would be successful at. We sat down Sunday night And I remember the conversation. It was extra long Sunday night, and we picked out, I think it was 6 to 7 different plays that we knew that he could, that he knew and that he would be really successful at. Because you never want to put a kid in a situation they don't want to be successful, obviously. And we didn't want to. We were going to build on that week by week, and that's what we did. We started small, and then his very first game as a varsity quarterback was against Burroughs. Kind of funny that both of his brothers went to Burroughs. He comes in as a freshman. First game starting was at Burroughs, and I talked to Coach Merritt about it, and he was super impressed with what Winston was able to do, at quarterback against them and stuff. So we knew Winston could handle it athletically, and he did a great job, learning the plays mentally. Of when something went awry, he was cool, calm, and collected. So he did a great job of being mentally tough, as a freshman in there, and did a great job. I think 5 weeks. He was in there 4 to 5 weeks. He was their quarterback and everything. And then when Reagan was healthy, they split a little bit of time. And then, but we definitely kept the Winston package in there, even all the way through the Rockwood Summit game and everything. But he rose to the occasion and was able to step in a quarterback and did a great job leading our team. The very first couple during the week of practice, you could tell he was a little nervous, which is totally understandable. And I told my lineman, was like, "Coach, we can't hear him. We can't hear what he's saying in the huddle and stuff." So, my lineman calmed him down. My senior leaders calmed him down and said, "Hey, it's going to be all right. Like, we got you," and everything. So the team really rallied around him. And, he definitely rose to the occasion, and he became a better leader than what he already was and everything. The team earned a lot of respect from a lot of people on the team and even outside the team. Switching to receiver and slot and running back to quarterback. And then actually when Reagan came back, switching back and doing both things. So,
hey, Coach, out of all the guys that we've seen today, who do you think will have the biggest breakout year?
Oh, man, you put me on the spot. Man, I tell you what, if I answer this, I'm gonna get a lot of hate mail from my players. Oh man, that's a great question. I have to go with my man Rafi. I think that Rafael Sowa, with dedicating himself to the weight room and working in the wrestling room and putting that extra time and effort and dropping his weight, and I think that he's gonna have an absolute amazing year on the offensive side and on the defensive side, and he's gonna be a force to reckon with. But and then you got, I don't know, Coach, that's a hard one, man. I literally started sweating automatically when you asked me that question. So I do have to go with Rafi on that one. I have to stay true to my offensive line, but I really think that with these young men and all the hard work that they're putting in right now, and the rest of our team's putting in right now on their own, I really think that we're going to have a really successful year this year. And these 8 men are some outstanding football players, and we have some other outstanding football players as well. We have some rising freshmen. Or Nate Shuckman, watch out for that kid. That kid's going to be really, really, really good. Devin Rogers, also, both those two are linemen. Both those two are going to be some dynamic linemen for us, and everything. PJ being at receiver, Bobby Byrne at outside linebacker, safety. So it's going to be, and our practices are going to be a lot more. I'm going to have a lot more competition. Our last year our numbers were a little down. This year, our numbers are going to be up, and it's going to be, we're going to be flirting with the 60s with our numbers this year. So practice is definitely going to be a lot more competitive, which is going to help us out, and we're going to be able to do a lot more on the offensive and defensive side of the ball with that number rising. So, but to answer your question, Tyler, I'm going to have to stick with my boy Rafi, and I know I'm going to get a lot of texts tomorrow after this airs. And I'm gonna have to do some explaining. So I'm all right because that's my boy Rafi. So.
Man, I appreciate you coming on, Coach. We got to see some new guys. At least I did, that I haven't seen before, and we've seen some familiar faces that we have seen before. But I'm really, really impressed with that freshman core group. You showed us, and then like you said, Raphael with he's so powerful.
Yes, he is.
I'm really looking forward to seeing him mature and get those looks that he deserves.
Yep, I agree. I really appreciate you guys taking your time out and talking football. I love talking football. I'll come on anytime and talk. But we do have a special class of seniors this year. They're great leaders. They're already showing leadership off the field. They're dividing themselves up into teams, checking the team captains are checking in on them, making sure the kids are doing what they should be doing. They're coming up with different ideas to keep kids engaged and sharing out films with them and everything. And just to see the growth of this senior leadership is absolutely amazing. And that's where your football team resides, is your seniors. And it's their season. And these kids are taking the bull by the horns and definitely freaking wrestling the bull, and they're going to run away with the horns. So and super talented rising sophomore class as well. We have a really talented rising freshman class too. So watch out for MICDS next couple of years. It's going to be a special run for us. Our numbers are up. There's a lot of buzz around our program. Great leadership with the coaches, great knowledge of the coaches, great leadership with the seniors stuff. So I'm looking forward to a really special year, and we're going to have a tough schedule, but we're ready for it. We'll be ready.
But we can't wait to see. Oh, you go ahead.
I got one last thing to say.
Oh, okay. I don't like your questions, Tyler. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. No.
I ain't even got no more questions. I just got one more statement.
Oh, okay.
I appreciate you for coming on. This is big. We know about the transition from your past coach to your new coach, so we appreciate you filling in and doing this for your players.
Sure.
That's huge, and I know Coach appreciates you as well for doing it. We also want to let everyone know in the St. Louis area, in the Kansas City area, come onto the Playbook, promote your kids, let them get seen. We're here. We want to hear what you got. We want to see your players, so bring them on. But we appreciate you, Coach.
No, I appreciate you guys, and this was awesome. I do recommend this to all our schools out there. They've been fantastic, great communication, and this has been fun. Like I said, I enjoyed talking football. I was nervous coming on here, but this was a lot of fun. I'll do this anytime.
Well, we'd love to have you anytime you're free, and we would definitely be at an MICDS game this year.
Hey, first game of the season, Slew, come on out on the Saturday afternoon. Yes, Saturday afternoon, Slew, come on out. It's gonna be one hell of a game. So
we can't wait. We can't wait.
I can't either. I'm itching right now. My leg's going out. I'm ready to get fired up. I'm ready to go.
No doubt. Well, this is the Playbook. We want to thank y'all for tuning in. Tyler Coleman, I'm Dorian Brown. MICDS is here, and they have talent, college coaches. Hit up my man, Nick Menneke. He will definitely show you where you need to be.
So
it's the Playbook, man. We out.
Thank you.